morning, good evening, good afternoon, earthlings, peeplings, everywhere, wherever you are on planet Earth. We are entering the territory of the super weird now. There is a huge Christmas card gate going on right now. I'm sure a lot of you will have seen. Over a contentious, apparently, AI-generated Christmas card photo of Archie and Lily. Now, I don't want to talk about the children because I have no idea anything about these kids or anybody else's kids. The part of this, the aspect of this big argument that interests me is the Daily Mail. Now, this is where it's begun, and I will show the photograph in question. Okay, admittedly, it's got a little bit of The Shining about it. I mean, they don't look very happy kids. They look very nice children, but they don't look very happy. They're very solemn, very, very solemn. And the question is, why is the Daily Mail writing a story like this? Now, the Daily Mail, as you all know, I've got a history with the Daily Mail. So I've been watching them for years. They have a certain style and a certain way of going about things. Now, apparently this photograph was created, AI generated by one of the sugars, as we call them, which is an ironic term because they're nutters, they are far from sweet, they're quite sick. In fact, I'm going to come to a bit where I'm actually going to do a course in psychology because of these little nutters that follow Meghan and Harry. They're just the most bizarre. If you tell them the sky is blue, they'll swear blind it's black. And vice versa. I don't know if they're bots or if they're paid troll farms or what they are, but they are insane. So I'll come to that later. But let's talk about this AI generated image. Now, the Daily Mail have this style where when they can't legally talk about something, they go about it in a different way. For example, they used to pick on Judy Finnegan a lot. They'd get the worst possible photographs of her. And let's face it, you can do that to anybody. And they would accompany it with wording like, Judy was striding, elegant, looking svelte, or smiling, beaming, right? When clearly she was not beaming at that particular moment. And they pick on other women and they do this kind of thing. So they clearly want to talk about the children, but they can't kind of legally do that. They certainly can't do it without coming across as if they're picking on little kids. So they're using this AI image in order to start throwing a light. And they use the term Archie beaming. Beaming. The last time I used the word beaming, I was pretty clear that the definition is a broad smile. Beaming? It's got something of like Dr. Crippen about it. Now, the Sussex Squad create these weird AI images all the time and they post them on X all the time of Meghan and Harry. I don't know if you guys saw the one of Meghan and Harry in lederhosen. I mean, it's really, really weird how they do this. But the Daily Mail didn't do an article on that. And the Daily Mail didn't do articles on any of the other really super, super weird AI images. And yet they've chosen this particular photograph, which implies that this one is different to all the others, doesn't it? I mean, why didn't they include in that article some of the other AI images? Because I'll put a link to the article. When you read the article, the way it's written is like, we're all conspiracy theorists. Everybody who's on social media, we're all weirdos. We're all conspiracy theorists. And how awful it is. And it's clearly AI generated, which, I don't doubt it is. But they're clearly trying to make a point. Why is this picture different to all the other AI generated images that are out there? Now, it's black and white. We all know Meghan she's partial to the odd black and white photo, isn't she? She's released a lot of black and white photos in the past. So there is a kind of a Meghanism style about it. I suppose the Sugars, I don't know, they know she likes black and white, so they did it in black and white. Let's put it that way, shall we? I'm sure it wasn't Meghan herself. But there's an implication, isn't there, that this particular photograph has been singled out. So who made it? Well, I have no idea who made this. I know that a prominent and highly respected YouTuber posted it and asked for people's thoughts. You know, what do you think of this picture? And this accompanied with their actual official photograph that they released. That was super weird, as usual. I mean, I don't know why people expect it not to be. I don't know why they don't just go full swing and just have a blur of nothing on the Christmas card. So it's interesting that the Daily Mail have picked up on this. And as I say, I've been watching the Daily Mail for years, and I can tell when they're brewing for something, they're building for something. Now, it could be that they've just realised that they will be more successful if they actually print stories that people are interested in, like people watch on YouTube and want to discuss on YouTube, as opposed to taking money from PR firms and puff pieces and a load of old guff, buff and nothing that we ever want to read about or hear about. So maybe they're sort of slipping into the world of reality, you know, where people actually, they're stopping being this mainstream media. They're starting to think, let's talk about the elephant in the room, because nobody else is talking about it, but they don't want to quite go their full swing. So they're using YouTubers and people on X to they're twisting it. Do you see what I mean? They're using them so that they can put the story out there. But it is unusual, this one, and I feel this one's going to grow. I mean, there was all that hullabaloo about the Prince and Princess of Wales and how the Princess of Wales had retouched a photograph with her and her children. We all know what her children look like. We see videos of them. We see them live on the TV. We can see them from all angles because it's a three-dimensional video. Whereas with Harry and Meghan's children, of course, it's anyone's guess, isn't it? So that's interesting. Now, these Sugars, let's come to their insanity. And they are insane. I mean, that I have never in my life seen the level of insanity that is on X in certain quarters. And they are people who support Meghan and Harry, or sometimes they're just plain knockdown nutters. So I've been getting into psychology and psychiatry, and I've been watching lots and lots of videos, and there is a website called udemy.com where you can actually pay like $20 and you can do a course in psychology. Because I don't want to become a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but I am fascinated to know why there appear to be so many crazy people in the world today. I mean, is it because they've been prescribed an imbalance of antidepressants and that combined with the use of social media? Or is it just social media that for some reason some people have an allergic reaction to and it bring out the crazy side in them? I don't know, because it's clear to me that the type of people that support Meghan and Harry are not well-thinking people. They're not right-minded thinking people, or they can't be, to believe half of the nonsense that's put out there. They just can't. I mean, I imagine old Windsor, is probably nowhere near Meghan at the moment. He's probably in a far, far away land right now, getting boxed off his face, trying to forget the nightmare that has been created. Because, I mean, he thinks he fucked up in the past with a poor choice of fancy dress costume, etc., etc. Oh, this is the fuck up of fuck ups, isn't it? This whole mystery shrouding him and his family. It's only going to get worse. I know I keep coming back to it, but I have to say, it does remind me of the marriage of Sir Paul McCartney and Heather Mills. Because I watched that story I think it went on for about 3 or 4 years, didn't it? And I wasn't even on social media. I was just reading articles in the newspaper and looking at it. And again, the Daily Mail and all the newspapers, they would go, oh, they're so in love. They're so in love. Oh, aren't they in love? And I was looking at it at the time without any outside influence, not on social media, not listening to any YouTubers, just thinking to myself, something is wrong there. I can see they're not happy. It's got to be obvious to everybody they're not happy. And oh boy, when it broke, when the news finally broke. But the newspapers just went along with this nonsense that they were so in love. So you can only imagine what's going to happen with Meghan and Harry. I mean, forget Amber Heard, Johnny Depp. Forget Heather Mills, Paul McCartney. Forget, you ain't seen nothing yet. We are entering literally into the super, super weird. I mean, let's just go into Fiona's imagination just for a moment. Imagine if some of the theories that some of the YouTubers have actually turn out to be true. And you know which ones I'm talking about. I mean, you'll knock me down with a feather for starts. But yeah, I'm studying psychology. I've actually ordered a book on psychology to give me a good introduction into it. As I say, I've no intention of ever becoming a psychotherapist or a psychiatrist or anything like that. I'm not interested. I've just got to get to the bottom. I mean, did some shit get in the water, or did everybody take a crazy pill and I wasn't looking? What the fuck is going on in the world today? Well, I thought we could go through it together. As I read the chapters, we can talk about psychology, and if you guys know other people who behave like this. I begin to think that Harry and Meghan have become a beacon for the nutters, basically. They are the king and queen of nutters, aren't they? And I'm sure they're nothing to do with this AI photograph. But the very fact that there seems to be some sort of mystery, credibility, plausibility around it, that it is newsworthy enough for the Daily Mail to do an article, that so many people talk about this subject on social media. This has been created, this mystique, this whole ridiculous situation has been created by Harry and Meghan themselves, by shrouding things in mystery, by their own very, very super weird behaviour. So, yeah, I really, really want to start looking at psychology and not just narcissism, because I think, and I'm hearing that word all the time, I kind of hear it too much. When I was talking to HG Tudor, it's like people use it far too often. There are so many other conditions, right? For example, and this is why I'm never going to be a psychiatrist, never, because I'd be a very, very unsympathetic one. I was watching a guy on YouTube who is, I don't know if he's a psychiatric nurse or doctor or something, and he was saying that people with, you know, how do you talk to someone with delusional personality disorders where they genuinely believe something? And he was saying that he had a client who believed he's a dragon, right? I'm sorry, no. So this guy, and he said this guy is so convincing that he can draw you into his delusion by describing the texture of the scales on his skin, right? I'm sorry, no. If I was a psychiatrist, I'd get a mirror and I'd say, look, what do you see in that mirror? And if he said, I see a dragon, I'd say, well, you're going back to your padded cell. I'm sorry, you're not going anywhere. You're not being released. You're not going out until you can tell me what you see in that mirror, that I see in that mirror, right? And it's not a dragon. You're not going anywhere. I mean, hate to keep bringing it up, but there's that weird lady with the bomb in, you know, the bomb hoax woman. Mad as a fruitcake. Mad as a hatter. Literally. And yet I see the system pandering to her. Oh, you all right, Diane? Fuck's sake. What about us, the unqualified public, that have these people foisted onto us? They're released into society. Now, I'm not saying bring back asylums where literally everybody gets locked up, but there are clearly some people out there. You just have to, in fact, don't go over on X. Just don't, because it is lunacy of the highest order. I don't know if half these Sugars and Meghan Markle fans, that they're actually joking and they're actually trolling Meghan and Harry, or whether they genuinely think it. I mean, this Diane woman, she has genuine beliefs. I think if you put her on a polygraph, she'd pass, because she's so deluded. She believes her own lunacy. It's fucking, and I don't know about you, but it starts to make me feel like I'm going fucking mad. Anyway, thoughts, opinions. I can just imagine. Oh, God help us all. New Year's Eve. And if I don't see you later, which I might not, then I hope that the new year gets off to a good start for all of you. and that 2025 will be, I don't know, the year that maybe brings some sanity back into the world. Thank you very much for listening.